Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back.
It only took
2 months. 2 months off, and honestly, life's just been chaotic, and just that's the only thing I got for you is just life's been a bit chaotic.
The life of Pi is just
it's been chaos since I got back from vacation with work and just life in general. But we're back. We're here. We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live, alive, breathing, just not live streaming.
So, Matt, before we dive into it, like, tell people anything new with you. It's been 2 months. They get the sound of your voice.
I installed a Tesla charger this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sucked. But
I'm surprised it didn't do it itself.
And I did it myself.
No, I'm saying the Tesla didn't install itself. It does everything else itself.
Right.
Can't install its own car parts.
It can't even charge it. Like plug its own charger in. It should have like Elon should create a robotic arm that comes out.
We should hit him up on Twitter. See what he says.
Yeah. Patent it.
Right.
Make $1 gazillion. That's like 80 times more than Elon is $1 gazillion.
Then we can buy Twitter.
And then we could buy Twitter and then just dump it. Delete it.
The
world would explode.
And just buy a bunch of shib. Shib to the moon. The only thing that's been happening, I've just been working a lot, and as you can see, well, you guys can't see it, but the video people who are watching, I've been assembling the home theater piece by piece. That's been my project. We're also in the process of building the bar for the living room, which is going to be a fun addition to my place.
Don't tell them about it. Let's just reveal it.
Yeah.
But we are building a bar.
Yeah, it's gonna be a one of a kind piece. But let's get to why we're. Oh, and quick announcement. We were just talking before we came on.
What?
We were just talking. I'm going to talk. No, we were just talking about before we came on. So before.
We talked about a lot of shit before we came on.
Yes, but we were talking about one specific thing right before we came on.
What?
I'm good. Just let me talk.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were asking me.
No. So we have decided that me and Matt, once we wrap up, we get wrap up the Yellowstone series here tonight, that we're going to eventually work our way into diving and doing a full-blown Fast and the Furious saga series. So we're going to go 1 through 9. We're going to try and do all 9 before 10 comes out. I forget the exact date that 10 comes out.
Is it this year?
It's this year.
This summer?
I think it's the summer. I forget the exact date and month or whatever. But we're going to try and do movie by movie and just break it down. Because as I told you guys, after we wrap up Yellowstone tonight, it's going to be just movies because that's my true passion and that's what I know the best. And I think you guys will enjoy it. And after that, we will be working our way over to the Twilight Saga universe.
No, we won't.
Well,
you will.
I will.
I won't.
You won't be joining me for that one. My sister-in-law will be joining me for that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
But hey, it's for everybody.
No, it's not for everyone. I'm not going to watch it.
No, you don't have to.
You said it's for everyone.
Okay.
It's for only people who watch Twilight.
It's for the Twihards, okay?
Okay.
You don't have to listen. It's okay. I'm not going to be offended.
It's gay.
Okay. But the reason we are here, the mid-season finale of Yellowstone.
2 months later.
Yeah, 2 months later. But hey.
Finally getting to it.
But hey, life happens, and so what are you going to do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting mid-season finale, because I do believe the opening scene we see Rip gets his, he kills a ranch hand.
Yeah.
He's what?
Oh, that was like the flashback.
Yeah, it's a flashback. He kills a ranch hand. He's probably what? 16, 17 maybe?
Late teens, early 20s. But I'm probably going to say late teens because he's
definitely older. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the first time he's killed for Beth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's actually a really kind of powerful scene because you have like the flashback of John Dutton and young Lloyd, and like they're all talking about, he's like, what did he say? And he's like, sorry, I don't want to repeat it. And like basically John Dutton gets the sense that he said something inappropriate about his daughter, and he kind of understands why Rick did what he did, and then we get the next scene, I think, is we get our favorite character back.
Oh my God.
My favorite character.
Jimmy.
That I have been screaming for the last 3 episodes.
I was so excited to see him.
Yes, I'm so glad Jimmy is back. He's only got a couple scenes this episode, but I think there's no way you're going to bring that big of a character back and not have him be a big part of the next part of the series, the series, the rest of the season,
Right.
For season 5, because they said it's coming back in the summertime. I don't know if there's an exact date yet that I've seen. So I'm excited to kind of see where Jimmy's character goes, because you can see that he's down. He's at what's it called, the 4 6s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's down in Texas, and you can kind of see he's got a girl he's still with, and he's happy. He's a cowboy, and everything's going good from where we met him in season 1 or 2 we met him for the first time. I can't remember at this point.
What?
Where did we meet Jimmy? Was it season 1 or 2?
It was season 1. It was like the first episode.
Was it?
If not the second. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, for Jimmy coming from basically being just like a heroin addict, essentially, I think is what
it
it
was. Just a method at that point.
Yeah,
he was a 2-striker, and pretty much Rip just came and said, "Look, you're either in or you're gonna go back to prison.
Yeah,
those are your choices, or die."
Yeah, and basically they kind of had to beat him almost into submission over that first couple seasons to kind of make a man out of him, in a sense.
Yeah.
I think in season 4 he comes back at the end. Even John Dutton tells him Texas was good for you. He goes, "Yes, sir, it was."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I was so happy to see Jimmy come back, because they've been kind of teasing it.
He's the comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
And me, I love Jimmy's character because you said I love the redemption story in TV shows and movies, like the arc, the redemption. You're like, oh, this guy's a piece of crap. He's trash.
Right.
Then he has that redemption story. Now he's he had nothing, and now he has a great job that he loves.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a girl that he loves.
Oh my God, Emily's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's healthy. He's in a good relationship. Everything is turned around in his life, which you'd love to see for that kind of character.
Right.
So then our next scene is kind of basically it's Jamie talking to, I think her name's Sarah Atwood. We call her the
devil.
I call her the battle axe.
I know,
No. The devil is the Indian chick.
Oh yeah, she's like a demon.
Yeah, she's the one that's kind of trying to destroy the.
Yeah, Sarah Atwood is just a bad bitch, not in a good way.
I mean, but the thing is, I have to give it to her. She's good at what she does. She's playing Jamie like a puppet. And if you can't see that by now, that she's playing Jamie like a puppet, then obviously you've not been watching the same show.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Haichu.
It's not. Let's say that. It's also not brought to you by Miller Lite, but or Bush. And then we, of course, the bunkhouse is up early. They're doing some more branding stuff, and Beth kind of shares with Monica a story she's never really told anybody about the loss of her child. Mm-hmm. And for us to see Beth in that moment to actually kind of let her guard down, which she never does for not even really Rip. Mm-hmm. Hardly. I mean, she does for Rip, but it's here and there. But with her and Monica having the differences they've had throughout the past 4 seasons, for her to actually kind of let her guard down and tell her what happened was actually a big moment.
Oh yeah.
And it's just it was huge, and I really
monumental. Yeah,
and I really enjoyed and I'm glad they're getting more screen time together, because before they weren't really sharing the same scenes.
They never really saw eye to eye. Yeah, they never had a chance to be in the same scene.
Which to me, I'm I like characters which you wouldn't think would be good at scenes together. Those are the ones I like when they bring those two characters together that don't really have that much in common. Mm-hmm. Even though Beth is related to Monica via marriage. They're
sister-in-laws.
Yeah, they're 2 very different personalities, 2 very different individuals.
Sister-in-laws.
Yeah, they're sister-in-laws, yeah. And they're just, the personality-wise, 2 very different individuals. Monica's very mother and nurturing, and Beth is more grab life by the balls kind of thing, and I'm not going to take crap from anybody, basically. And they both...
Which is weird, because now Rip is Monica's brother-in-law.
Yeah, I guess he would be. Right? I just thought about that. So, my thing is Tate technically Beth and Rip's kid? They never really adopted him, did they? They kind of just took his...
Casey and Monica's son.
Not Tate, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I forget the other one's name. Oh, no.
Go ahead, Paul.
Just tell me what it is, man.
Nope, I'm going to let you suffer.
Oh, jeez. Not Tate. Oh, God.
When you see his picture, you'll know. How about that?
No, it's not going to help. It's not gonna help. I forget his name. It's terrible because I know there's two of them. Oh God, this is terrible. I can't forget his name. Oh, why don't you just tell me what his name is? You're gonna make me suffer. I'm just gonna Google it. Carter.
It's Carter.
How did I dropped the ball on that one. I can picture him in my head too because he has the cast on his arm. Well, no, him and Tate both have cast on. Yeah, because didn't Tate broke his arm, fall off the horse, right? Or he did something to it. He broke his arm somehow. They both have cast, right?
Dude, it's been 2 months. I don't remember.
Okay, sir. You can tell we're kind of loopy. It's been a long week.
Carter broke his arm when he fell off the horse.
Yeah.
Because he put John's horse into that gopher hole.
That's right. So, with Carter, is he like their son? Like,
oh! Got it. Tate broke his arm in the car accident.
That's what it was. I say they both had broken arms. I know that. So is Carter technically their son? They never really adopted him, officially.
Yeah,
they kind of just took him in.
There's no paperwork. They've just taken him in.
So basically,
They've adopted him more like, I don't even want to call it surrogate parents. Just more like, I don't know, guardians.
Yeah. And then we, of course, we have a scene with Rainwater. Rainwater gets called to the center's office. First of all, the center is still absolutely, I think she's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And she basically has the unfortunate news of telling Rainwater and Mo that basically like a council meeting went through and that they're going to run a pipeline through the reservation under their water reservoir. Mm-hmm. So, and Rainwater's like, basically, like, we have no say. She's like, pretty much, there's nothing you can do about it, even though it's a reservation. Which, I don't know how they got around it, because I feel like a reservation, you can't really, if you're not from the res, you can't really come in and just do stuff. Even as we remember from the past episode, like, the president was just there, like, the day before.
Shooting dogs!
Yeah, shooting dogs the day before. And he's like, nobody said anything about it. She goes, nobody said anything about it either. It was just brought up to me. And so that's kind of messed up, because if that goes poorly, then they lose all of their water. They have no drinking water.
Yeah. It's a pretty crappy situation. And, like, you know, you start off this entire series not liking Rainwater. And the more it goes on, I'm starting to really like Rainwater.
Because you can relate to him. Mm-hmm. You can relate to his problems. He's just like, I'm getting totally, like, hosed over here.
Yeah. And like, you can understand, like, okay, and times have changed, obviously, from, like, you know, 1900, 1800, 1700.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, especially when we settled, and like, yeah, you know, this is our land, and we want to protect our land. I get that. John wants to protect his land, but he also wants to, like, have it be our way. We want our traditions, and, like, all, and I can respect that. And just for him to get so screwed over, like...
Yeah,
it's just politics. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or where you live. Politics can ruin anything.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Welcome to America.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's messed up that they can just kind of go over his head. He's technically the sheriff. Is that what they call him? Sheriff Rainwater or council?
Chief.
Okay. And like, to me, that's just like, that's messed up. Like,
Sheriff Rainwater, huh? He's not a cop.
I know. It's been 2 months. You know, some of the facts are skewed because Mo would technically be the sheriff, right?
Mo is just he's the tribal head of the tribal police.
So wouldn't that make him technically the sheriff?
No.
No?
No. They don't have sheriffs.
Oh, they don't have sheriffs? Oh, I don't know that. Okay. Well, learned something new today. Let's see what else we got. We got the bunkhouse. Everybody's out rounding up the cattle. To finish the branding, and we find a bunch of dead cattle everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so basically we find out, I forgot to write the disease name down.
Tuberculosis.
Oh, thank you for that. And basically John tells everybody, he goes, if one cattle has it, he goes, there's a good chance the rest of them have it, which means we have to get rid of the entire herd. Mm-hmm. Which means it's almost basically the death sentence for the ranch. You lose all your profit because John's barely hanging on as it is ranch-wise, but a lot of people don't really realize that until like this moment.
Yeah, you know what they're worried about is that tuberculosis will spread through the herd. It's not good. It's treatable, right? That's why they want to send them down south. But what they're worried about is that if they keep them here, right, game wildlife can come through and check, and if they do have tuberculosis, they'll all be slaughtered.
Yeah. And then John has no money.
To lose your entire herd would be awful.
Yeah. And so basically it comes down to the point where John has to call out and lease land from Texas. Well, we find out the Texas, I think he said something about Colorado and Texas.
It's going to be northern Texas, close to like the Oklahoma Panhandle.
See, I heard Colorado for some reason. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But Oklahoma makes more sense because they're like right next to each other. So, and then Beth basically finds out.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Geography is not my strong suit. But yeah, then Beth basically finds out kind of everything because she calls the 4-6s and finds out about their whole process. And he goes, basically, we turned $8 million profit last year, and you have to have this much cattle to turn this profit. And so she kind of puts 2 and 2 together that her dad doesn't have that much, so they're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's going to lease land, which is going to cost even more money. But if he doesn't lease the land, he'll possibly lose all of the herd, which means it's the end of the ranch. And all the people that have been coming for him for the last 4 seasons are going to get what they want, including his son, who is now trying to impeach him, as we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which,
Jamie's a dick.
Yeah.
Jamie needs to go.
Yeah. And as we know, as Jamie, as
that
we
scene, Beth goes to the house.
Oh, when Beth breaks into the house and beats the tar out of him.
Beats the brakes.
Yeah.
Straight off his face. Throws a brick right at him. Knocks him out with a brick.
Did she knock him out? I think she's kind of messed him up. I don't think he was unconscious.
Hits him in the head with a brick. Yeah, it doesn't like knock him out, but not like.
Oh, knocks him down. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course Sarah comes downstairs and
she talks in this voice.
Yeah.
This voice.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid voice. Boy. Oh my god. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, and then of course.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, and like Jamie trying to impeach his own father is just like insane and.
That's declaring war on your own family.
Yeah, and then Beth's like, he tells Beth about the train station, and that she has videos, and he goes, and I know where the train station's at, Beth.
Well, obviously, because Beth took a photo of Jamie at the train station, but Beth didn't know that was the train station. She just thought that was some random place, and Jamie has to say, wait, you think I'm the only person? Like, how many bodies this entire ranch and family has dumped off that cliff over generations?
He goes, you know how many family secrets are buried at the bottom of that hill? Mm-hmm. And that's a really cool scene from the previous episode. Like I said, if you declare war on your family and the ranch, it's a tough hill to climb up. And then of course we find out, back to the the end of the mid-season finale, that basically like half the bunkhouse is going to Texas.
Yeah.
So we got Ryan, Teeter, oh my god, I can't remember the guy's name with the cowboy hat that sings. Walker. I'm so terrible with the names right now. And so basically we find out so basically we find out that half the bunkhouse is going to Texas with the cattle. There's a cool back and forth between Rip and Lloyd that we were talking about beforehand. Like, he's asking, like, Rip's like, who do you want to keep, who do you not want to keep kind of thing, like, who do you want here? And Lloyd's like, it's you're the manager, or like, this is your call. And basically they have like a back and forth, like, it's almost like a respect thing. Like, Lloyd knows that Rip's in charge, but Rip respects Lloyd enough, because he looked out for him as a kid, to ask his opinion. And Lloyd even volunteers to go because Rip has the family here. And Rip's like, no, I appreciate it, I gotta go, it's on the manager, whatever. And so like they're a little back and forth, the respect thing. I like that dynamic.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, he almost sees, I think he sees Lloyd almost like a father figure, like he sees John as a father figure. To a point.
I don't think it's a father figure, I think it was, and probably still is a mentor figure.
Okay, yeah, that's a better word, okay.
Right? Because it's not, John raised Rip. Lloyd showed Rip the
ropes.
ranch side.
He showed him the ropes.
Yeah.
And so then basically pretty much the end of the episode is
you gotta remember, Lloyd was the original ranch manager.
That's true, he was. And so basically, like the end of the episode, we just have like Rip gives Ryan like it looks like $200 to take the whole bunkhouse to the county fair.
He takes, let's see,
Everybody
Ryan,
goes.
Teeter, Walker, and
Colby's there too.
No, I'm saying who's getting shipped out.
Oh, okay.
Ryan, Teeter, Walker. There's one more, I think. Teeter, Walker, Rip, and it's not Ethan. Who was it? Oh, now I forgot his name. The guy with the glasses.
No, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
God, that's so disappointing for me.
But yeah, so like Rip basically gives everybody money, takes everybody to the fair, and then that's where Beth basically kind of finds out that he's being shipped off, that he has to go. And that's where Lainey Wilson's character finds out that Ryan's leaving, and he hasn't told her yet. Didn't tell her he's just gonna leave.
No, he was gonna tell her.
But I guess he didn't really tell her yet, but she found out.
They just found out a couple hours earlier.
Yeah.
Like
And it's like, how do you tell
And you
someone?
don't want to ruin a good moment. Like, you're there at the fair, you're having fun. You don't want to be like, all right, we're here. By the way, I'm leaving. Now let's go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to savor that good moment. And I get that. As a guy, you don't want to. You have bad news to deliver. You want to savor the good times.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, basically, she basically tells him, she goes, I know you have a dream. She goes, something about like, I know you have a plan. I just wish I was a part of it or something like that. She was, they gave her a really good like line to tell him. I forget the exact quote, but and basically she just kind of disappears. So far, there's a still strong possibility of your prediction from a couple months ago still holding true.
Which was
the song.
Oh yeah, wait in the truck.
Yeah. And so that's still alive. And I still hold on to my belief that Beth is going to take out Jamie at the train station. Or Jamie's going to be trying to take out somebody and Beth's going to
Jamie's going to the train station. It's when.
Well, my thing is,
by who?
I think it's either going to be Beth or Rip. Or what if it's John? Because remember, Jamie's not technically blood.
And John could never kill his own family.
Because he's not.
Jamie's not.
Because
really
Jamie's
true
adopted,
family.
right?
Yes.
He's adopted.
Yes.
I still think he's getting train station by the end of the season.
This coming season that starts again in summer?
The mid-season. Because at this point, you're 5 seasons in. You haven't really taken out like a true main character.
Yeah.
You almost need it for like that shock value if you're going to do another season or two. Just like, they took out Jamie. Everybody, at the same time, everybody's going to be like, good. He sucked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, his character, you hate him, but which means the actor's doing a really good job of portraying the person that you want to hate.
Yes, Wes Bentley is fantastic.
I remember the first thing I saw him in, and I don't remember why. It was a Ghost Rider.
With Nick Cage?
Yeah, he's the devil's son in Ghost Rider. Oh yeah, he plays the devil's son in Ghost Rider. Really? Like a really young, like he's probably mid-20s at that point. I mean, however long the movie's out, I don't know his exact age, but yeah, that's the first thing I saw him. And then he did those American Horror Story. He did a couple seasons of that on Netflix, which wasn't bad. But yeah, he's been in a bunch of other stuff, obviously too. But yeah, I think he's doing an awesome job with this character. But unfortunately, I think he's going to meet his demise, and possibly Sarah as well. That might be reckless speculation, but I think Sarah bites a bullet too. I think it might be a 2-for-1 special. What are you looking at?
Nothing. I'm just thinking, staring off.
What do you think? Reckless speculation, or do you think it's a possibility? I think one of them's going to go. Whether it's on a plane or over the hillside, somebody's going.
Jamie's going.
I think Jamie.
I think Sarah Atwood, well, I can't stand her character. I think she just gets, quote unquote, fired. Like, they lose and she just disappears.
I think she's given an option.
But, then now I think about it, Jamie has told her a lot. So she's a loose end.
And that's the thing. They may give her an option. If you ever come back, if you ever heard from again, we will find you. And we will train station you.
I will find you.
And I will kill you. Good luck. But yeah, that's our that's the mid-season finale right there.
Yeah, you know, I was expecting it to like end on this enormous cliffhanger, and it didn't.
I was too. It wasn't really a cliffhanger at all.
There
it was like
no
nothing.
cliffhanger, and I
But you
respect that
you
because
don't
I'd
want it.
rather it be at the end of the entire season.
Yeah, because you don't want a cliffhanger at every mid-season finale, because then you're kind of like, you're expecting it, you're kind of like, oh, but then you're like, which means at the end of the season,
At the end of season 4, there was no cliffhanger. It was Carter and John just kind of went off on a little ride down into the mountains, and that was it.
I remember going season 3 into 4. Oh my god.
Yeah, the explosion.
Oh my god. I remember I watched it, I was like, what is happening right now?
Because it picks up instantly.
Instantly, like, there's still explosions happening.
Yeah.
Like,
gunfire.
that scene was awesome, though, that Casey just flips the desk over and he just pulls out his gun. He's like, let's do this. And that was such an awesome scene. And Beth walks out of an explosion.
Right. Yeah.
Beth just walks out of an explosion, sits down, lights a cigarette, half her face is burnt off. And the guy's just like, what? But yeah, there's a reason this is basically, I would say, arguably the biggest show in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
Yep.
It's
the biggest show of this generation right now.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this decade.
So yeah, no,
Because there hasn't been very many shows. The last big cult following was Game of Thrones.
Before that, it was Sopranos.
Sopranos was like, I want to say Sopranos. Well, no,
Sopranos
actually
was,
no.
Sopranos
like
was,
the first like mass following was MASH. Back in the 60s.
Oh, I
70s.
thought we were just going in order.
It was like Miami Vice, right? Like the
Right.
original Miami Vice.
I
Then
love
you have
Lucy's.
the Sopranos.
Yeah.
Right? And then, God, it's been like, I don't even know, Dexter could probably be in that. But
Yeah,
Dexter's a very,
but-
like, specific
Yeah.
type of thing, right? Where everyone's heard of it, right?
Yeah.
It might not be for you, but, like, yeah. Game
But
of
it's for
Thrones
me.
was, and now granted, I've never seen Game of Thrones, but that was, you heard about Game of Thrones everywhere, and it didn't matter. That shirt, right? Like with that graphic writing or whatever.
Oh, the shirt that I have that says I drink and I know things.
Yes, exactly. Because you know that's a Game of Thrones
Peter
like,
Dinklage
font,
Yeah.
right? Now, like Yellowstone, you see a little yellow Y, you know that's Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Like you know it.
Like I said, there's definitely a handful of shows out there that are just very iconic.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's really good shows and there's like the iconic shows. I would say like again like
The dramas.
yeah. Like I said, I go back to like Sopranos because that was like the 90s and the early 2000s. It was like because it was only on for, they call it 6 seasons, but they split season 6 into parts 1 and 2, which I'm getting ready to start next week. So I'm watching it through all the way for the first
Want me
time.
to tell you how it ends?
I know what the ending scene is. I've seen it.
Oh, I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
But so far,
That makes sense.
I'm all the way through season 5. Just finished it. It is awesome. But any other final thoughts?
I got a lot of thoughts in my head, but nothing that you want me to share.
Okay, well, on that moment, anytime. So, all right, guys. We'll be back at some point here in the next week or so, but I know for sure we will be on here. We will be covering the movie that me and Matt are very, very excited about. I cannot wait to see this movie. It's going to be so over the top. I'm talking about none other than Cocaine Bear. We will be covering that one. We'll probably hit some other movies before that just to kind of give you guys some more content since I've been slacking at the beginning of the year.
Way to start off strong.
But hey, we got 30 minutes in. We're back on the board here, and so stay tuned. I'm not sure what movie we're going to start off with, but we definitely will be covering Cocaine Bear, so be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
It's going to be ridiculous. So thanks for sticking with us, and we will be back
Whenever.
when we're back here. Hopefully the next week or so we shall return. And as always, I hope you've enjoyed your slice of pie.